So, AnnaSophia, after launching a career full of movies in which you were the youngest person, or at least one of the youngest people in each cast, how did you feel about playing the older woman in this film?
The older one. I was like, whoa, did I get old that fast? No. It was I had a great time on this shoot, and working with Liam was a lot of fun, just to be able to kind of, our characters are in the same boat, both feeling a bit abandoned by their families, and so it was just nice to be able to have someone around my age to kind of, I guess we were both just working with such experienced actors was such a special thing to share with each other, to just watch these people perform.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Sometimes we play the more reserved characters, and everybody else is kind of acting around us. So.
Did any of the older guys give you any advice? Especially because your relationship with Sam Rockwell was so lovely, and maybe did he give you any kind of tips or life lessons?
Yeah, he well, one of the things that we did, it was one of the more intense scenes where we are on top of the water slide after the party, and I finally explained to him what's happening at home, and we did this thing where, if I can show you that, Sophia, we push against your hands, and you really get the blood flowing, and he showed me that, and he also told me that if I ever wanted to explore theater in the future, that's a great option, and he's always grown up in that. So, yeah, he gave me lots of cool little tips. So.
This film was filled with summer kind of nostalgia and family trips and whatnot, and you guys are young enough where you're probably not that far off your summer trips.
Yeah, still. I just had we had two families that I've always traveled with since I was 3 years old, and this is where it's getting to the point where they're just starting to go off to college, and everybody, so we're just it's just ended, pretty much.
Is there anything that this film touches on that brings back memories of maybe when you were younger?
Oh,
Since
yeah.
you're the older woman now, Anna.
Yes. My mom's side of the family lives in Virginia, so I remember growing up going to beach houses and taking the long road trip down to Virginia Beach and renting a big beach house with the whole family and seeing other people, and just we never had families that we necessarily vacationed with. It was always just our family. But I know, back in Colorado, there were a couple other families we'd go on river rafting trips with, and I think it's those lazy summers where the kids, you're out of school, you go on summer vacation, that's what you're doing, and for the parents, it's like, wow, we're not working, and it's this wild, party time for them.
Will you ever have a lazy summer again, do you think?
No. But that's good. I get bored easily.
I would love to have a lazy summer, so that's definitely something I'm interested in.
We saw Liam and Steve Carell play the world's most awful card game ever.
Yeah.
Did you guys do that kind of stuff where you were game playing families and stuff? Do you do that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, we played Monopoly, I think was one of the big games we played. My grandma, and my grandpa introduced me to the game of canasta at a pretty young age. So I got, I don't know if you guys know the game, but it's a pretty interesting card game. And but I was never quite as good as they were. So.
We did card games all the time. It would be like I Spy with My Little Eye, or if you go on a trip, I would bring, and you go through the alphabet and different things like that. If we ever had to go to the bathroom, my mom would sing the Hold Tight song. So it'd be hold tight, everybody hold it. And we'd go through the whole car, who had to go to the bathroom, and it didn't. It was just a way to try to get to the next gas station and just pass the time and not think about it as much.
And not piss your pants.
Exactly.
I'm going to try that, actually.
Liam, how's your experience of mastering Duncan's dance moves? Because it can't look too good and slick, but it's got to kind of be endearing. And
yeah, they were very natural, the moves. I'd say, that's my best dancing that I have in my arsenal. They can't. There wasn't any sort of preparation. We just kind of went and did it, and I guess it beautifully looked terrible.
Do you spend a lot of time playing in water parks when you were shooting, or was it kind of actually?
Yeah, after work sometimes. I mean, there wasn't every day because obviously we were very tired, but maybe on a Friday, I think we at 9 o'clock at night when the water park has been shut down for like 4 hours, they turned back on all the slides, and they were just so accommodating. They're like, yeah, we'll turn on all the slides for you guys. We'll all go down together, and all the water park staff would come down with us, and we'd all run up the stairs, and yeah, I got to no lines and just got to use all the slides. Yeah, it was awesome.
What was the secret that last ride? I mean, there is supposed to be this great lore here. Like, was there a way to do that?
You know, I think it's pretty technical. We weren't able to, obviously. Yeah, I mean, it's like we would climb up the side of the slide on a ladder. They put a ladder on the side, and we had to, and then we'd switch about halfway. So we'd go down through the top, and then again we'd go to the side, and then I would start first. So then, yeah, that's kind of the special secret. Movie
Special
magic.
effects
Yeah.
from the film.
Yeah.
ILM. They came in especially just to kind of like.
Yeah, but me and Sam were very proud that we got to do all our own stunts. So, yeah.
You think it's, we see a lot of young actors today who are giving such personal performances, and I'm wondering, what are we doing to our kids to make them so aware? Like, when you put them on the screen, it's extraordinary that the fearlessness you guys show in these types of movies. Where did that come from? Do you watch other young actors yourselves?
Yeah. I mean, there are so many great young actors around right now, but I feel like there sort of always has been. I think, when you think of Paper Moon and Jodie Foster growing up, and I think it's just there's better roles being written. There's more opportunities. 'Cause I think kids or young adults or whatever are very intuitive, and a lot of times it's just less of a. I know when I was younger, at least it was less of a thought process. It was just like you do it. It's more of a natural sort of thing. And obviously, as I've gotten older, it's become more of like a craft and something I practice, and the script and more of a conversation. But I think it's great that there are more like heavier young adult roles, because kids go through a lot, and I think it's important to let people know that they're not alone, or at least for adults, they can associate themselves with that younger character. And I just think it's so funny growing up now and like being not in college but the same sort of place with all my peers as in my friends who I went to high school with, and that transition of like, where do you go in the world, and feeling super alone, but realizing in your aloneness you're in it with everyone else. And I don't think that's out there enough, especially for people in college, because they're going through new things, and they think because of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, everybody's like has this perfect life, but it's not the case. So I think this movie really gives an example.
That said, is it more competitive now as a result to find those juicier roles that don't make it just the girl or the kid who has some kind of emotional instability or whatever? Like, you don't want to be like an archetype, so to speak.
You mean like competition, like
to get those better roles?
Yeah. Oh, there always is, because there's only so many. That's why this film is so unique, because it's really. I haven't seen a movie like this probably since Little Miss Sunshine that incorporates a very diverse body of actors and has a lot of humor, and it's real and it's not over the top.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the boy in it. I can't remember his name. Who plays Tony's son, but
silent.
I've always looked up to him a lot.
Yeah, he's great.
Did you feel a lot of weight on your shoulders though? Because the leading men who've carried movies before, like Steve Carell and Sam Rockwell, don't carry this movie. A lot rests on the audience feeling for you and rooting for you. Did you feel a lot of that kind of responsibility of?
I think I didn't really have to feel that while we were filming. It was just kind of like relaxed summer vacation almost. Like it was with Nat and Jim. They're not going to be like, all right, Liam, so you have to carry the movie. It's just
this movie sucks on you.
Yeah, it's just no. We just did it, and it was just natural and fantastic. So
Was it a fun vibe on set having them it's their first film together as directors?
it's terrible. No,
At a water park.
yeah, I mean, just even seeing these people who you've grown up watching all their films, seeing them be human and just seeing Toni Collette grab her bathing suit and go down the slides, and she's enjoying her. Everybody has that kind of kid, I guess, inside them.
Yeah. We all had a lot of fun. We filmed at a big beach house, or they had a big beach house for us that served as our dressing rooms. So it was kind of like a big family, at a beach house, in between takes, hanging out, watching YouTube videos, and playing cards. And
Yeah.
Who's the bigger instigator in a group like this? Like, is it the adults, or were you guys to kind of like just run around because your parents are there as well, correct? I'm assuming.
Mine weren't.
Yeah.
I hung out with Liam's mom a lot because
Yeah,
Liam was always working and I didn't have a ride.
I
Your
know,
mom's so
I
nice.
know. I was a little bit upset when they were starting to become a little bit better friends than me.
We'd work out together.
Yeah, I know. I was a bit jealous, I guess. But sorry, what was
So the bigger instigator to kind of break out of the work mode? Like, who's the one who's
Nat
in
and Jim.
charge?
And Jim, I
They had
think
parties.
Maya Rudolph. I think she's very funny. Everybody's just always joking, having a good time, and then everybody just did such a fantastic job on screen. It was just seamless.
And Nat and Jim they would host parties. They lived
We
in a
had-
house together, and they would invite the cast over
And the
just
producers,
and
and we'd all just hang out. And I had 2 friends come visit me for a week, and we all got to hang out. So I again, summer vacation, we were all just hanging out, and they got to meet Nat and Jim and Steve, and I'm pretty sure they were thankful for that. And yeah, we just hung out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Our lives seem so small all of a sudden. I want that experience of one.
Oh, I know. I can't.
I know. I need it to happen every summer. I wish.
We should do a reunion film every summer.
I think so. I would be down for
So
that.
how do you relax? What do you do for fun?
Yeah. What do you do for fun?
Depends on where I am. At home in Colorado, I love going on hikes and going to concerts and going to see movies and hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, I go to the beach sometimes in the summer. It's where I live. It's not always easy to do that. In the winter time, I go up to Whistler and I ski for fun as well. And then other than that, just normal kid stuff, I guess. Just
New York, I
movies,
eat.
media. Yeah.
How much break do you get from Carrie Diaries next season? Do you get a little bit of a window of opportunity?
We start mid-July, or the first week in July, actually. Yeah, so I got off in March, but I don't really feel like I've had a break. But that's okay. Whatever. I'll just keep going. I'll
Just a working
work
actor.
myself into the ground.
How does it feel different when you're making a TV show and making a movie? Because it must be so much more full on making a TV show because you've got to do so much in such a short amount of time.
They both have their pros and their cons, but TV is definitely a lot faster. You have a lot more pressure to get things done a lot quicker, so you can't be as precious with the material, doing as many takes as you want, or rehearsing. We don't really have time to rehearse, which was a big adjustment for me because I always like to rehearse or play a scene a different way, but there's certain beats that you have to hit in a TV show. That's how they're written, every episode has a certain formula or a season. So it goes a lot faster, which is nice sometimes, but at the same time it's we'll be shooting, I think 11 pages in one day. And on this movie, it would be 3 if you're lucky, on movies.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like sometimes the
And
quality.
it still felt rushed.
Yeah, and it still was oh gosh. I think film though it's just more thought out, and you kind of know where your character's going. In TV, they're still writing episode 8 when you don't really know where you're ending up.
You have a harder job. You're playing an iconic character that people have a certain expectation about. So has it been developing this younger voice of Carrie Brush been a better challenge as a result of that? Or has it been more of a burden, do you think, in some ways?
It's been a lot of fun. I think now that the show is out and people realize that it's different from Sex and the City, there's not as much pressure or expectation put on the show as a whole, and including myself. Well, deja vu, weird. Or Or maybe it's because I've answered this question a
million
lot.
times.
I don't know.
But it comes down to confidence too. And like for both of you, do you feel more confident now because of choices like The Way Back in terms of expressing yourself?
Yeah.
Make it easier.
I'm so happy I did this movie. I mean, I always have loved film, and I really want to try theater. I like big time, especially after doing this movie, working with so many of the actors who come from
Improv,
theater.
they're all really
Improv
big
backgrounds.
improv background, and I think that's such a talent to have. And you get scared when you think like, what am I gonna do to match this? But it didn't feel like that on The Way Back. But I think it's a great talent to have.
Yeah,
You know all those groundlings people working at one time. Hello?
I know.
Yeah, and Second City as well, and yeah, all those crazy people.
Hmm.
How can they be leaders then? Because they're always cracking each other up, or are they?
I
They
mean,
play it. Well, sometimes it's nice when you laugh because
yeah, it just breaks attention. I mean,
yeah. Whenever Jim would crack, like laughing, that's when you knew it was one of the funniest things you've probably ever heard. Because he's really good at keeping a straight face.
Hey, Liam, you were on the first episode of The Killing. How much are you going to be on this season?
not a lot. I think they said that it was about 1 to 3, so I haven't heard yet. So it's not gonna. I don't think it's a big portion of the season. So
You'll be able to have a life.
that'd be great.
Do you want to do something more kind of upbeat and talking about doing improv and people coming from secondary ground? Is it maybe you want to do comedy? Maybe not necessarily improv because I think that seems terrifying, but maybe comedy.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to be a part of this comedy, but I don't want to be something that I'm not. And if that's something in the future that it really feels natural and people think that's funny, then that's great. I don't know.
I don't think either of us want to be pigeonholed by.
You're
Yeah.
too young for that.
Yeah.
Hide it.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, like how about this teenage angst in the movie? Is that really how people live these days in your age group?
Yeah.
Especially with social media, you have to
Some
be aware.
people.
I don't know. I
We're
think
both like, nah, I don't know. Depends on the kid.
yeah, I think it depends on your situation. Like Duncan and Susanna are both going through their parents' divorce, so that's definitely something very hard to deal with. And I've noticed recently with friends that it's just not an easy process for them to handle, and I think it's really important that you have friends and family that support you during that time.
Yeah. Everyone. I still get angsty.
Thank you so much, guys.